Good morning and welcome back to the channel. It's 7 o'clock on a Sunday morning and I'm off to join a bunch of gentlemen who are off on a little bit of a road trip, a day road trip, but it's going to be an interesting day and you'll see why in a moment. So come along and join me and see what happens. And there is the beginning of our day. Look at her. Doesn't she look beautiful? Hello, I'm Hax. I'm a filmmaker and a storyteller. I love to travel, meet fascinating people, go to interesting places and discover amazing things. Come along with me as I search for the fascinating, the interesting and the amazing. So today I've been invited to join the Rusty Nuts. It's a group of gentlemen who have got classic cars and go out for a Sunday ride. Simple as that.
Hello, thanks.
Geoffrey, how are you, mate?
All right, thanks. Yeah,
good.
Good to see you.
Really looking forward to today. Thank you very much for the invite.
You're all set for it?
Yeah, I think we are. Yes.
Great, good.
We are. So what's the plan?
I've no idea. Hotchkiss is organising it, so there is no plan. All we have to do is be there. The question is where, when. Brilliant.
So go on, tell us about this beautiful, beautiful bird.
Well, she's 1965, 4.2 fixed head coupe E-Type Jaguar. It's a Series 1. I bought her about 12 years ago, and over the years we've sort of done various bits to it, done the bodywork, done the interior, done the engine. In fact, there's not much we haven't done to it. But yeah, no, hopefully she won't let us down today and we'll have a lovely day.
Brilliant. Bit of a tight squeeze.
A little bit, isn't it? Such is the joy. So
it does take a bit of skill to actually get in the car, I have to say.
Well, especially since it's not a soft top, you can't just put the hood down to get out.
So tell us about Rusty Nuts.
Rusty Nuts. We did have a different name, and I can't remember what it was. It was just a group of pals who've got interesting cars, who wanted to do something more than just go to the local pub and show them off to people who weren't that interested and talk about cars and things. So Andrew Rethel came up with the idea of let's form a little group to go out for some more interesting runs, go a bit further, go a bit, you know. So every now and again, it's not every week or every month, but every now and again we take them out and we go and do a blast.
Yes.
And have some fun along the way, stop for breakfast or lunch or try and visit an interesting place somewhere. That's where Hotch won't keep up with this. Pulling out of junctions. Trouble is going round corners, he's a lot quicker than this.
He's driving a what? He's
got a Porsche 911. Don't ask me which type. There are so many different types of Porsche 911. I have no understanding whatsoever of them. But lovely cars, but I just don't understand Porsches. They've got the engine at the wrong end. And, you know, you never saw horses pushing a bloody carriage, did you?
You're a bit of a traditionalist, are we, Geoffrey?
Oh, just a little bit.
This isn't your only classic car, though, is it?
Well, no, it's not. I've got exactly the same age. A Mark II Jaguar, which is a lovely old girl. And I've always been a Jaguar man. I just enjoy Jaguars. Although they have a habit of letting you down, like, you know, any unreliable thing. But no, you know, they have character, they have lots going for them. Where else can you get this sort of excitement? Well, let's go. Meant to be 265 horsepower. Well, apparently, you know, people who've rebuilt these engines say you never get more than about 210. But of course, back in the 60s, nobody could really measure them, so Jaguar just
made up the figure.
Made up the figure and thought they'd get away with it, which they did.
For a very long time.
Yeah, but it's a very light car, and it's you know, it's got a lot of power. But bear in mind, this car is nearly 60 years old. It's got a hell of a lot of performance for its age.
Is Hodge behind us?
Yes.
Yeah, he's there on the inside.
Yeah.
He's the one in the red Porsche.
Yes.
Which you might be able to see through. There we go. So how many miles do you do in this a year then?
Not many. So this year, well, I'm taking this, hopefully, fingers crossed and touch wood, I'm taking this to Le Mans for the Le Mans Classic. I would think I wouldn't do more than 1,000 miles in an average year.
Sure. And what about insurance? Do you kind of elect to do a certain amount of miles?
Yeah.
To cover the insurance side of stuff?
Yeah. A maximum of 3,000 a year.
Okay.
It's not expensive, agreed valuation insurance, for what it is. If we had a garage fire or something, it would be catastrophic. And for the sort of levels of money you pay for insurance, I think that's very good value.
But it's distinctly a hobby. You wouldn't use one of these as a commuter car, would you?
No. It is, as you say, it's a hobby, and I love it. Probably doesn't do more than sort of 18 or 20 to the gallon. I've never measured it, to be honest. But in terms of environmental, which people seem to be talking a lot about now, most of the damage that this car will ever do to the environment's been done 50, 60 years ago when it was built. Unlike these modern electric cars, which they're, you know, digging the ground for the stuff for the batteries and so on, the CO2 and everything else they're using or emitting to make the things far, far outweigh what this will ever do now.
That's interesting.
early. I need to go. 10 o'clock, wasn't it 10 o'clock? Yeah.
Not like you.
So we had a group in the Surrey boys going abroad, and Andrew Reith thought it was a good idea to have the Kent boys. So there's about 10 of us in a group. That's the big boss, Andrew Reith.
So apparently, Andrew, you created the rusty nuts.
Yes,
The rusty nut.
yes, it was for the blown gaskets, and then it changed its name to the Rusty Nuts. It's very appropriate.
Because we've all got rusty nuts.
And yes, so what is the rusty nuts? Don't forget.
Where's this
the
going?
latest
Where's
version.
this going?
It's going public on
Yeah,
YouTube.
that's what worries me. That's what worries me. I don't want to be abusive to my friends.
It's a group of like-minded chaps
Yes.
with rusty nuts. Sorry?
Law respecting, law abiding,
Yeah.
never break the speed limits.
Never break the speed limit. I didn't think I went very fast on the way up, did I?
Boys
No,
and
you went very
toys.
slow. No, I was going steady.
This is a big tour today. This is our summer tour. This is a big one.
And then all of a sudden, Ben pulls over and lets Geoffrey
So what's wrong with that?
part way down the M23. What's going on?
You don't have to worry about it. You worry too much, little fella.
It's just
No, I'm with you there, Russell. I was
he just
thinking,
didn't know where he was
oh,
going,
for
did he?
fuck's sake.
No, but
We get off a motorway and he doesn't know where he's going.
hold on.
Roll the
It was
dice. Roll the dice.
because
Where we
I
go? Where we
didn't
go?
have this didn't work. My sat nav.
I
He's got a
just
sat
thought
nav.
we'd get here quicker if I led than if he led.
Yes, we followed you. We knew you'd get us here.
Carry on, chaps. Carry on.
I didn't know where we were going.
It's a small breakfast for a small fella.
That's why I chose the small one.
No, I got the big one because I'm hungry. Thank you very much. Look at that. Whoa.
It's beautiful. This is really good.
Have you been there before?
No, first time, and it was full of motorbikes, and I thought, oh my god. But actually, first class breakfast. First class breakfast, and I can quite see why they stopped there. Anyway, we raised the tone of the place a bit by taking some cars. Apart from that, it was good.
There we go. So what's the plan now?
I believe we're going to Goodwood,
Okay.
but where from there, I've no idea.
So what's Chitty driving? A Porsche, but what one?
Oh,
Do you know?
I do. It's a Singer Porsche,
Okay.
which is very, very rare and very, very expensive.
Oh, okay.
Beyond that, I don't know much about it, other than the fact they take a perfectly good Porsche, if there is such a thing, and they strip it down to the last nut and bolt and rebuild it to their spec. And it's not like a sewing machine. It is a Singer Porsche, and apparently they're really rather special.
Okay. That's good. Now, talking about stripping down, you've had this down to bare metal, haven't you? And you've stripped it right down. Tell us a bit about that.
Well, not on purpose, I didn't. I thought I'd just get a light respray. And it was one of those appalling phone calls you get as they were just rubbing it down lightly to say they'd not managed to find any metal. And you began to realise this wasn't going to be a small project that it started off.
So what was it? Filler?
Yeah, lots of filler.
Oh my God.
Yeah, it had been in an accident, obviously, and on the left-hand side, the back end had been, well, it actually been brilliantly filled, and the car was nearly half an inch wider than it should be.
Because of the filler?
Yeah.
Oh my God.
Yeah. I mean, we took, say, tens of kilograms. I might even have been 100 kilograms of filler off.
Whoa.
Beautifully done, but not what you hope to find when you're restoring a car.
Yeah.
So it's had a major rebuild.
It must have been a point where you thought, I'm not going to just try and save it, I'm actually going to do some proper restoration work. What drove you to that?
Desperation.
Really?
Well, you get in so far and you've got no option, and there's no point
when you know something's wrong, trying to just cover it up. You might just as well make it right. So that's what we did. No regrets about that. It's a lovely car now, and I know it's right. So we have a lot of fun together.
And then you rebuilt the engine?
Not completely, no, but we had a leaking rear crankshaft oil seal. Well, to deal with that, you've got to, it's a very common problem on these engines, you've got to take the engine out and take the gearbox off.
Okay.
Well, then you have to take the bottom end off to get at the crankshaft. Well, you're then engine out, bottom end off, you might as well have a quick look at the top end while you're there. So we took the top end off as well and checked everything out. Actually, it was all per factory spec, so it didn't really need much doing. So we did what needed and put it back together again. But we know it's right because we've looked.
And how long would a project like that take normally?
Normally, I suppose it ought to have taken about 3 months, but there are 3 kinds of time in this country. There's British summertime, Greenwich Mean Time, and Barden Workshop time.
Barden Workshop.
I love Bardens, they are the best company in the world. But you know what? They work to different time scales from everyone else.
And is that because that they are perfectionists?
Yes.
Or is it because they have too much work on, or? Well,
both. Because they're perfectionists, they have too much work on. I challenge anyone to find much wrong with this. They love what they do and they do it well, but they don't do it quickly.
I love the concept of rusty nuts. For an excuse to go out for a drive, I think that's just amazing.
Yeah, it's fun. You get to use the cars and open them up a bit at times.
Over breakfast, I mean, I love the banter, light piss take and everything. It's good.
Yes, we need to get serious about the piss take though. We're here, coming into the motor circuit here.
You say we might be doubtful as to whether we get in. I take it we haven't got an appointment?
No.
Love a Spitfire, me. So we've stopped off at Goodwood and managed to get in. We just had the confidence to just drive in, and then one of the security guys actually stopped us and we had to get permission. But we've had coffee at the airport cafe, we've watched the Spitfire land and take off, and now we're kind of right on the front of the race course here. Really interesting day. Tell me about your Porsche.
Well, the fact that I paid 18.5 grand for it. I've spent about 20 on it, and someone offered me 85, so I'm quite happy with that.
Yeah.
But no, it goes very well. I'm not getting rid of it. I'll never get rid of it.
How long have you had it?
6 years.
Oh wow.
6 years. Yeah, watch out. Yeah. No, I can't beat a Porsche. Better than the old Jaguars, Fletch.
He was talking just now about that.
Well, Jeff was.
Yes.
He loves
I
his
don't think
Jags.
he likes a Porsche.
No. No, they're German. He likes his Jaguars.
So a quick stop at the Kennel Club for a pint.
Cheers, guys.
Cheers. Cheers.
Well done, Andrew. We're all
More expensive than petrol. So we're now off to a friend's house to go and see his collection, and we're now going across country, fantastic roads here in Sussex, on to the house. It's really been great because this group is obviously a great bunch of friends with a common interest of some nice cars, and also just an excuse to get out there and have a good drive and go and see a couple of places and you know, just have a chat and a bit of a laugh, and it's just really brilliant. Last in line of what, 4 or 5 cars, and the trouble is we don't actually know where the house is that we're going to, so we have to keep up, otherwise we'll get lost. We've met a horse and cart and then someone else on a horse, which means that you have to have really fast reactions because you don't want to spook the horses. It's not fair to the horses. So we're on our way home now. Everybody else has dispersed, got their own mission lists to get home. So what did you think of today? Is it kind of a standard rusty nut day?
No, not really. We generally stay closer to home and we do a bit more driving. I mean, if you take out the route there and the route back, we didn't do a huge amount of driving, but it was a lovely day. We went to a couple of really nice venues. We had a lovely breakfast. Goodwood was fun. None of us had been in there and seen it in the raw before.
Yes.
And seeing Pete Brown and his beautiful house and so on was lovely. And meeting up with Andrew, who we hadn't seen for a while. Yeah, just a good day. And, you know, we all had a bit of a crack, didn't we?
And a good excuse to stretch the old girl's legs.
Indeed, indeed.
Well, I have to say, Geoffrey, I've thoroughly enjoyed it. Thank you so much for inviting me.
Well, glad you could come.
It's been a fantastic day for me. Really an honour to ride around in this such a beautiful E-Type Jag. A classic bucket list event, really, for me. If you've enjoyed it, give it a like, and if you'd like to see more episodes, subscribe and look out for the channel in the next episode. The only thing that's left for me now to say is thank you for watching, and bye bye.